Hello to all. So this is my channel, Plutonic Planes. And for those that are new, I do astrology, human design, literary audiobooks related to kind of simulated creatrix type environmental layers, worlds. And this particular video, I'm focusing on the Aries Vortex. This I've talked about in other videos. I wanted to do another video on it. Today, Dorji and I did a video for Marduk's Musing for the full moon tomorrow, or rather today, as I'm recording this late, on the full moon in Sagittarius. I think that's like 21, 22 degrees. And I am going to pull up a couple astrology charts because I found some really interesting asteroid connections to the present movements of the planetary beings. And I will share that in a minute. I wanted to share this image. I'm probably going to put an image like this on the cover as I was trying to get a vortex image along with Pallas Athena of the Venus star point. And that occurred 2 degrees Aries this year, which means was initiating a new cycle in the Venus star point, a 7-year cycle. And this is the morning star that appears in the sky. And Venus reminds us to love and to love with care others and ourselves. And so this usually I prefer as a Plutonic planes channel to talk about authenticity is more important than anything. But this is a layer of it, and a very important layer, as the Venus star point is conjuncting the Aries ingress and the Aries vortex, of which Neptune and Saturn has now emerged and is now sitting in. They will regress, or not regress, but retrograde in October, November, and then come back to stay permanently in Aries for a while. And that'll be in February, March of 2026 that they'll come back into Aries after they leave in October, November, which portends a another moment of dissolving, another moment of things dissolving and emerging as the one that we've gone through in the past month. At this particular moment, we're experiencing the first square to the Aries vortex. And in a month, we'll experience the midpoint of Pluto and Uranus as the Aries midpoint. And that will be July 7th. And that will be one of the singular most important dates of this year, as everything will be fully charged. And as Uranus in adventing it, ingressing into Gemini, will present circumstances of the next kind of set forth systemic overload on all of us into what we are encountering here with this kind of mechanized attempt to reduce metaphysics to something material, to metaphysicalize metaphysics into materialism. It's almost like they're attempting to close the doors and the gateways of this reality. And many gateways are closing of their own accord. But Venus here, the Venus star point here, represents the possibility of humanity to encounter and master these forces that are emerging and allowing the forces that are leaving to dissolve away. And I selected precisely certain asteroids in order to convey a possible theme that's developing. And I'm going to start that now. And be sure to tune in to the Marduk's musing I did with Dorje today, it's not going to be on my site. It's actually going to be me and Dorje decided to open up a YouTube channel just called Marduk's Muse. And I'm going to put all the old Marduk's Muse videos that we did on that channel. And I'm very slow. So hopefully I'll be getting that done in the next couple weeks. And so here's the first. I need to stop sharing this one. And then what I'm going to share is the first. Oh, it's not there yet. I'm going to share the first chart. This is the chart that I shared today on Marduk's Musing. And the other two charts I did not share. But I spoke about the possibility of these charts for particular reasons. So give me a sec as I pull this up and make sure I can share this with you guys clearly. So this is the full moon for today, actually. And this is later on today. This is 3:26 a.m. Washington, D.C. So this is about they're 3 hours ahead. So this is about right now. Maybe in an hour or so, this is occurring. No, there has been feelings of impending doom and anxiety that I've felt my open spleen processing as it processes the fears of the collective. You'll see here in this image, we have the full moon in Sagittarius, June 11th, 2025, 3:26 a.m. It's around 3:26. I just made sure that the moon and the sun were exact. You could see the moon is in about 20 degrees 30 seconds and the sun about 20 degrees 38 seconds. And so this is occurring in this full moon is occurring in Sagittarius and Gemini. And so this polarity is hitting all of us in that part of our charts. Something is ending on the Sagittarius side. And as you'll see, there's some asteroids that I purposely selected in order to share a story of what is possibly occurring at this time. Now, the Aries vortex is something we cannot see. It's a point that imprints. And it printed on March 22nd or on March 22nd of this year. So if you look at this chart and you see where Neptune is, that's about where the Venus star point imprinted. Right there where Neptune presently is and Saturn's. So to go over the whole chart for everyone, you can see Saturn is here at 1 degree Aries, the lone warrior. Saturn is in detriment in Aries. It is not comfortable. The old man is not comfortable in the clothes of a child. Neither is the child comfortable in the clothes of an old man. Neptune is in Aries, creating a new vision, a new show, a new movie that's appearing before us. A movie of a new pioneering way, a new vision of individuation. Now, the prey asteroid is not far. This is not an asteroid about preying. This is an asteroid about preying on others. This is a very dark and disturbing asteroid. Wherever you have it in your chart, whatever house, you're actually vulnerable to being preyed upon. But there are always other asteroids that can mitigate this dominant factor of this particular asteroid. And then you could see Chiron is now at 26 degrees Aries, moving ever so rapidly into Taurus. Please get out of Aries, Chiron. Just kidding. And you could see Venus is now exalted in Taurus. That's really sweet. The sense of Venus in Taurus is to love true. A very powerful place for Venus. And Venus is very important for esoteric reasons as well as exoteric reasons that I'm not going to go into right now. We see Uranus is slowly moving into Gemini. Right now, it's still fairly close to algol, portending dangerous violence for political individuals. We see the sun is 20 degrees Gemini, and we see Jupiter having just gone into Cancer, celebrating a whole year of Jupiter exalted in Cancer. Wherever Cancer is in your charts, look for something new to come. Now, with this huge shift of Jupiter into Cancer, you'll see some things here. First off, when 0 degrees Cancer is squaring the Aries vortex, so as everyone is seeing, tension has broken out. There's the movie playing in LA where very real things are occurring, very real violent images and struggles and protests and tension in the air is occurring in LA, which is going through its Pluto return, as Dorje went over earlier today in our Marduk's musing. And LA is a Virgo city, and it's going undergoing a rebirth into a smart or dumb city. We'll see. But LA is the Inland Empire. It is huge. Millions and millions of people live there. And what is occurring around a small eight block environment. But there's some other things to note here before I lose myself in the narratives. So you'll see that Jupiter is actually conjunct the goddess Erika, the goddess of grain. This is very powerful. There's a special message with this goddess, a rebirth, perhaps even a symbolism of the motherland occurring here in the United States through this conjunction. We'll see. Mercury is in Cancer, not far away, 4 degrees, and Deianira, the victim, is at 10 degrees Cancer. We'll see how those interact. Deianira, we'll see how it moves as I do. I'm also going to share the chart of Solstice as well as the July 7th chart of Uranus going into Gemini. And Mars should probably be in Virgo about by then. But right now, Mars, as of today, Mars just went into 26 degrees Leo. And it's getting very close to Regulus, which is the star of royalty. Now, if we look up here, Pluto, which is going to be having a midpoint, or already has a midpoint between Uranus at the Aries vortex. Now you could see Poseidon, the god of the sea, is 7 degrees from Pluto. And it's retrograde, just like Pluto is. So this could stir up some, and many people are already talking about this, tsunamis or hurricanes or just more earthen disasters as Uranus is still on top of the body of the earth in Taurus and has not yet moved into Gemini. And so this is the summary of this particular full moon chart. I'm going to go on to look at the solstice chart. So here's the chart for solstice, and this is occurring. It says full moon on top, but this is the June. So it's around. I didn't do exact time. I kept the same time as I had for the chart before. Now you'll see here, this is already occurring. I don't know why I didn't point this out in the earlier chart. Nessus is still very much now almost exact the north node is almost conjunct Nessus. It's moving closer, probably a day or two. And that means the north node acts like Jupiter. It opens up a space. The dragon's head opens up a space for all manner of energy to pour in. And with Nessus there, Nessus is the poison arrow. And so that's highly infecting towards humanity. And there could be some mass incidents of people being hurt. We're already seeing that, obviously, but there could be something on a larger scale as we progress to the end of the month. And you see at this point, Dejeuner is close to Mercury, thus our minds being victimized by the big show. And there could be temporal inserts that they're putting in this big show that affect us on multiple layers and levels. You see here, Jupiter is still conjunct Erika, the goddess Erika, this time 2 degrees off. The sun is inching closer to a conjunction with Jupiter, which is very powerful for the life force and for the side of humanity, as the sun is our source of energy. And so there's a big battle here. There's a big tension between the Aries vortex and other points of the chart. There's a battle for life, and there's also the battle of the forces which have no life, which vamp and pretend that they have energy and life, but actually feed off of our loosh. An agreement we made, I'm sure, to feed them our negative emotions. And so hopefully there's more laughter than there is dark emotions during this period. And so keep that in mind to keep yourself light, to keep your heart light. And we see here, as I was saying, prey is still very close to Neptune, a little farther off. Venus is midway through Taurus at this time, and Uranus is very close to its ingress into Gemini. And Mars, at this point on solstice, Mars has entered Virgo. And so it has passed Regulus. I think Regulus is at 1 degree right now. So it's right there, conjunct Regulus, the royal star. And Mars will be conjuncting the chart, the sun of Los Angeles's chart. So the story is not over, perhaps not even at this time. And this is about 10 days from now. And let's see if there's anything else to add in this narrative. You'll see that in this particular chart of the solstice, it looks like the moon is in Taurus. And it will have conjunct Chiron, so opening up some wounds to be healed or revisited and reflected on and let go of. And now I'm going to move on to the last chart, which is going to be Uranus entering Gemini. This is the big event of the year. This completely shares forth the whole basis for this year's Aries Vortex and what that actually is. Everything is at play at this time. And I do not mean to downplay anything that occurs between now and July 7th. I decided, in fact, to add the trans-Neptunian planets to this chart for good fun and measure. I'm just looking at it now with fresh eyes to see if anything jumps out at me. It's interesting as the sun is here. It seems like all the trans-Neptunians are in one place. Now the sun is at the midpoint here in Cancer, having passed Jupiter, which is in gate 15, if we look at it through the human design lens, the gate of extremes. When we see the sun here, conjunct Kronos, exactly, as well as Hades. This is really interesting. Having conjuncted also the goddess Erika, on its way to conjunct Dejanira, the victim asteroid. Nessus remains conjunct the North Node. In fact, the North Node has just passed it. And we see in this chart, I didn't do an exact time as when the ingress occurs. In fact, this is just right before the ingress. This is, as you could see, Uranus is 29 degrees here at 59 seconds. For some reason, I did this chart a couple minutes perhaps before it ingresses in, but usually events occur right before an ingress. So we're not looking at the exact moment that it passes into Gemini, but right before. And so this is Monday, July 7th. Between now and then, I suggest everyone, as I suggest over and over and over again, to allow the energies of the earth to pour through your feet. Remember, your feet are ruled by Gemini. Your bare feet are the connection to the verse, to the metaphysical, to the spiritual. Your bare feet on the green earth, or as in my case, very yellow, dry earth. And actually, not just your feet flat on the ground, but also moving your toes up so that the energy can be allowed to sear up through the body. And you will not fear, but you will feel after a good 10, 15 minutes, the energy actually moving into your body. It's very powerful. And it's the most important thing to stay grounded during this time and to also take time as usual to allow yourself to feel, even if you're processing all the emotional horrors that are occurring. It's very important to feel and allow them to pass through you. And remember that we are here to deal with, to master the technology that's being utilized at this time, regardless of its very dark and disturbing nature, as it attempts to replace organic human essence and physicality, as it attempts to create, to feed off of us and to replicate us. We, in turn, if we stand it fully in our body, in spirit, we cannot be mirrored or recreated or taken over. And it's important to sense that deep within from the heart vortex of who we are, out through our eyes, gazing into the sun vortex behind the sun simulator outside, and behind, and thus the real sun of suns behind, as well as the son of sun, Sirius, our blue cobalt star. And so I wish everyone a very grounded presence during this very challenging time. It seems that we are in a minefield and things are being set off every day now. Something has began. Perhaps it's the Axis Mundi rituals intending to imbalance the world and find a new source point on the earth. But we have our own earth and our human design chart, and look to that on the right-hand personality side and on the design side to see how you ground yourself into the earth. That's all I have for you all. Feel free to like and subscribe and check out the new Marduk's Musing channel. And I will be starting another additional channel soon called Evening of the Magicians, and that will focus more on metaphysical topics, but it will also cover some astrological aspects as well. Best to you all.